I watched my mom making quilts growing up. Even just watching her do it, you're learning as she sews and makes blankets for you and your family. Eventually, she sat down and taught me to do the basics. I am making a dress. This reminds me of the red dress movement for missing and murdered Indigenous women in Two-Spirit. I remember seeing a painting done by my sister of a red dress hung in a tree. And this dress, I kind of wanted to have that flowing look to it, just to kind of capture our story and what's happening to Indigenous women and Two-Spirit all over the world. And I think just having that opportunity to share that small bit of information through imagery is really powerful. What I want to do in drag is always trying to inspire others or just have people watch or listen to us here and now. My name is Anita LandBack, and I live in Jabuktuk, Halifax. I'm from Eskasoni First Nation, which is a Mi'kmaq community in Onamangi, which is Cape Breton. So I've been a nurse for almost 10 years now, primarily in emergency departments. When I decided to give drag a go, I really wanted to think of a name that was very unapologetically Indigenous. Anita LandBack. Anita's this love letter that I have for who I am as Mi'kmaq, who I am as a Two-Spirit person, and who I am like on a day-to-day basis, whether or not I'm in scrubs or I'm in heels. Anita's an experience. Gender and how we see people has always been in terms of a role. So in terms of like even our language and how I try to like decolonize the gender portion of things, in my language we don't have him or her, we just have they, which is negum or neen, which refers to myself. If I were speaking my language and I told someone to do something or was referring to another person, at no point in time I would say he or she, because in that circumstance it has nothing to do with their role or what they're gonna do. Two-Spirit or third gender is something that's been around since in time immemorial. For me, growing up, I never really understood myself in terms of like what box I put myself into, and how I see myself or who I love really didn't meet the box of like, if you were to say gay, I really don't feel like it describes me, because gay does not describe like my gender. Growing up, I've never wanted to like contribute to this colonial experience of coming out. Just because I thought, it's either a liberating experience or a really oppressive one. I wanted to change that narrative by saying, you allow others in. Why is it that I have to come out of my safe space or my worldview just so you understand me? Why not you step into my world and understand who I am and who I've been? It's really important to feel seen in every space, because one instance that you feel invisible in that space or that place or that person, the next time you're going to think about that experience. And for a lot of racialized communities, those experiences are anywhere and everywhere. And you have people avoiding emergency departments when they need them. In my home community, you have people dime a dozen, like, no, I can't go to the hospital. This is how they treated me the last time. Or this is how they treated my mom. Everything I do has always been trying to make here safe for Indigenous people, but I feel like it's an injustice to not think about other people too that don't feel safe in these spaces. I've always tried to make it a point to be visible, to try everything I can to make either people's voices be uplifted or thoughts and intent being seen. I stand and live, and my whole life is in Mi'kmaq. I reside here in Jabuktuk, which is Halifax. Mi'kmaq is the ancestral territory of my people, the Mi'kmaq. And so that covers Nova Scotia, PEI, parts of Newfoundland, and a little bit of New Brunswick too. And so I try to use language as much as I can just to kind of have recognition that, you know, that's what their names were this whole time. So I picked the song Squidgenuigog by Jeremy Dutcher, which means native land. In my language, Mi'kmaq, we have a word similar, which is squidgenu. In conversation about being treated equally and fairly, Squidgenu means human, the people. LandBack means a lot of things for a lot of people. For me, it's a type of learning that we all have to contribute to, but it also rectifies the importance of Indigenous land sovereignty, because the reality is where we all live, work, and play is treaty territory, or territories that have never been actually given up. We should recognize where we all benefit from. When I first started drag, in terms of being encouraged and supported by drag artists here like El Noir, Maya Fox, Zara Matrix, it's just like a community that just took you in. I feel like I belong to a lot of communities. I belong to a drag community, I belong to a Mi'kmaq community, and a greater Indigenous community, a Two-Spirit community, a queer community. So in terms of like being able to be seen and present in all those areas or environments, it's certainly something that it was hard for myself to see like 2 or 3 years ago before diving into this world of drag. What we're just trying to accomplish is feeling safe, feeling seen. Kindness is something that we all can offer. There's a great outcome at the end of that. Back in the fall, I did a MMIW performance, and people were like in tears. And like I was crying because like you could feel the energy in the room and this mood shift. This is a very important thing to be hearing and seeing. You have this opportunity to share yourself, and then when people actually see you and you feel seen in that moment, it's like priceless.